So today I'm going to be talking about audiobooks. I feel like a lot of YouTubers, at least the ones that I follow, don't really talk about audiobooks. Like every now and then I'll hear like, oh, I listened to this in audiobook, but like no one's really talked about kind of like their experiences with audiobooks, because personally I think audiobooks have changed like my perception of certain books. I mean, a lot of audiobooks I haven't gone and reread. I haven't gone and reread them instead of listening to them, so I don't know how they compare, but there are some books where I do either want to reread them, or there have been some books where I want to listen to them on audiobook just to see if there's a big difference. So I'm just gonna get started and like give you a little background and go through like my good experiences with audiobooks and some of my bad experiences. So I am a college student, if you don't already know, and usually I spend about like 5 to 7 hours a week commuting, whether that's like going to school in the morning or coming home if I don't get a ride. So like audiobooks average, I'd say around to like 8 to 13 hours long, depending on like how big the book is. It's in hour slots, at least when I put them on my iPod, that's how they come in. And I also get my audiobooks from Overdrive, which is a program that if you check on your library, they may have a little library collection of audiobooks and ebooks that you can like put on your iPod or iPhone or Android, and you can just download them, and then when you're done, it'll delete it off your computer, and then like you by law are supposed to like delete it off your iPod. So yeah, that's basically how I get my books, audiobooks. And yeah, so over the course, I think it's been like about a year now, I've listened to about 12 audiobooks, and I think that's pretty good for like a year. And yeah, I'm just gonna like get into some of them now. So one of the first audiobooks I read or listened to was Eleanor Park by Rowell. Now, this was not my best experience with the audiobook because obviously there's a voice actor or actress, and sometimes, at least the couple I've read, if there are switching point of views, a guy and a girl, they will do two different voice actors, male for the male point of view and the female for the female point of view. And the only problem there is when, let's say, like Park, it's in his point of view and he's talking to Eleanor and Eleanor is talking back to him, that would be in the male actor's voice, so he'd be like in Park's perspective, and then he would have to speak Eleanor's voice when they're talking. So the thing about like guy and girls' voices is that girls can have high voices, and I believe like they can also do good low voices, versus guys already have deep voices, majority of them, and it's harder for them to make a more convincing, higher sounding voice without sounding like this. So that was kind of my experience with Eleanor and Park. The actors were good for their parts, but the male actor could not do a convincing female voice. It was very like, oh my gosh, she sounds like she owns a flock of sheep. Like, she actually talked very like, how, Eleanor, oh Park, it's so nice to meet you, blah blah blah. Obviously she didn't say that, but I mean, that's what it sounded like, and I like giggled because sometimes I just, serious moments I couldn't like, you know, and that obviously affected the book because there's not that many funny moments. I mean, there's cute moments, but there's not like funny moments in the book, and it was just very like, oh, okay, I definitely want to reread Eleanor Park in book form, because yeah, it was just like, that definitely changed my perspective of the book. But the female voice was great. She did an awesome guide voice, and yeah, so that was one of my first experiences, and for some reason I was like, I'm gonna give it another shot, you know, like, I didn't know how it worked, so I was like, there can't be like the same voice actor for all of these books, so I thought I would try another one. So one of the next books I listened to was Ive Got Your Number by Cassandra Clare, so that's the second in the Mortal Instruments series, and I read the first one in book form, and I liked it. I thought it was good, but the only thing was Clare sounded very like whiny. Her voice sounded kind of younger than her age. It was supposed to be like, what is she, 17 or 16? It sounded very like immature and whiny, but the book really wasn't that bad. Like, all the other voices were done cool. I really liked how the voice actress did Magnus's voice. It was very like funny and charming, and yeah, I did not have any problems with that one. Let's see, what was a good one I had? The Fifth Wave by Yancey. oh my goodness, the audiobook was so good. It was like I was watching a performance in my ears, obviously just listening to it, but like it sounded so amazing. And it was also in Cassie and Evan's perspectives. Not Evan, Ben? Cassie and Ben. So one is in Cassie's perspective, and that was played by a female, and the others was Ben, and that was played by a male. And like both of them did fabulous jobs. I actually, like, they were screaming in it, and they were all screaming, and it was like, oh my goodness. Like, it's funny listening to stuff in public because people probably think you're listening to music, but you're listening to books and you're like intently like, oh my goodness, like what's happening? And people are yelling, and sometimes like my headphones, I've gone through a couple of headphones the last couple of months, and like you can, sometimes you put the volume up too loud, you can hear it outside of your, like, putting them in your ears, and I always have to, like, take them out and be like, can anyone hear? Because there's, like, some yelling going on, or, like, I don't even know. So that one, amazing. Like, I fell in love. Also, the book was amazing, too, but I'm saying, like, the voice actors and actresses did a fabulous job. Same with, I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella, and, so my notebook here, if you're wondering. I just picked that book up because a different booktuber said that she liked it, and I was just scrolling and I couldn't take anything else on the online library, so I was just like, oh yeah, I'll take this out, whatever, we'll see how it is. And I didn't know that the book took place in London, England, or like somewhere in England. The main character has a British accent, and I was like, this is so awesome! I really like British people, obviously, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this book is fabulous, this is great. So the whole time it was in British accent, and she did a really good male voice because it was all in one perspective, and like it was just really funny. And the thing is, I can't imagine reading it. Like, I almost bought it in the library, but I was like, it wouldn't be the same as listening to an audiobook because it was just so funny. And because the book is kind of like a comedy, I also, once again, felt like I was watching a movie, and just hearing it, it was just like, it was so funny. It was great. The most recent one I've listened to was Cinder by Marissa Myers, and I heard a lot about this book, but I didn't really, like, I didn't know too much about it, and I don't know, I just had this weird, like, non-urge to read it. I was like, I don't really want to read that book, it sounds weird, like, modern adaptation of Cinderella and, like, Cyborg, I'm like, what's that? So, yeah, like, it was awesome as well. It was a female actress, and she did like all the voices, and there's one scene where it's like a bunch of officials from all over the world are having like a meeting about whatever is going on, and all of them have different accents. So there was one from Australia, there was a Russian one, there was an American one, and then like it takes place in Beijing, so I guess he had like a kind of Asian descent accent, and like she did all of them, and they were having consistent conversation, and it was like accent change, accent change, accent change, and I was like, I feel like there are 4 people in this conversation and it was just one person. So definitely check that one out if you're interested in picking up some audiobooks. I feel like I need to make another video because this one's going way too long, and there are a bunch of other ones that I want to talk about because, like, some of them are really good, but then once again, one more. I'm just gonna do one more. Some of them are really bad. So I listened to the first Daughter of Smoke and Bone series in audiobook. Because once again, sometimes these really big books, I'm like, might as well just listen to it on audiobook because, like, I don't have to read and it'll go by quickly. That one was actually 13 hours. It's one of the longest ones I've listened to. But there's like, I don't even remember his name. There's some creepy, like, fallen angel in the book, and he basically, at least what I imagined in my head from the description, looks like a golem, kind of, with, like, ripped off wings, like, really creepy, eerie, this little shriveled up thing, and his voice basically sounds like a golem, like, creepy. I don't even want to make it, but, so I'm sitting at the bus stop, like, listening to this thing, and I'm like, no, it was, like, 6 in the morning, I'm like, I can't listen to this. It's just, it was so creepy, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but you, like, think that he's, like, gone for good, and you're like, I was just happy. I was like, I don't have to listen to that voice again, and then he comes back, and I was like, oh, bye. So, anyways, that was a bad, like, just that. It was just that guy, but it was creepy. I was like, no, I'm good. I'll just read the next one. So I read both the other ones, but, yeah, so anyways, that's about it, but I would like to do another video talking about, like, my favorite audiobooks, I guess, even though I've only read 12, or listened to 12. But, yeah, so definitely if you're, like, a commuter student, or you're going on, like, a road trip, or you're gonna spend a lot of time in the car, you should definitely pick up some audiobooks. Like, I know there's audible.com, but I mean, if your library has an online library, you should definitely check it out because it's useful, and because not a lot of people know about it. Like, literally I only have to wait a couple weeks if I want to get one, or there'll only be one other person in front of me wait in the wait list, or it'll be there and I'll get it. So you should definitely check out some audiobooks. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!